Hey up everybody, my name's Joshua Morrison, director of Johnny Moz's Lessons in Confidence. Today I want to talk a little bit about architecture, right? I think we can all agree that that is a lovely building, right? I don't know anything about it, so I'm not here to talk to you about the in-depth technical, Baroque versus Impressionist, all that sort of architecture. I'm not here to get into technicalities. I'm more here to just talk about feeling, what various bits of architecture do to the human brain to make them feel things, and why it's good to have nice looking architecture and it's bad to have a load of garbage knocking around, right? Now obviously there is a case of function over form, right? In some cases, for instance, if that was a giant Asda, it'd be pointless, right? It wouldn't need to look like that. And if every Asda looked like that, then the prices in Asda would just be skyrocketed. They would be ridiculous, right? And everyone that goes into an Asda, they're not looking for a beautiful bit of architecture. They're not going to Asda to go to a fucking museum. They're going to Asda for some kidney beans, right? So not everything needs to look that beautiful, okay? That's fine and dandy. However, I do feel like in the post-war period, right, a lot of fast development needed to be done, okay? And I understand why that needed to happen, because people need places to live, people need places to go to the doctors, to go to school, etc., and they needed these places now, not in however long it took to build that, now, right? And so I understand that a lot of buildings look kind of crap because, the war destroyed a lot of things, and so we had to build them up quickly. However, I'm in Lithuania. Lithuania got ravaged by the war, and yet it looks fucking gorgeous. Britain got the Blitz, and yeah, it was bad, but I don't think it was nearly as bad as what happened here, and everything around here looks absolutely beautiful. And even when you go out, there's certainly on the outskirts of Vilnius, which is where I am at the moment, there are certainly, big box stores, there's big, new build architecture, but it's not nearly as commonplace as it is in Britain. It feels like now, a new development is coming around in the year 2025, right? You know what it's going to look like, right? It's going to look like that. And I'm not even going to show you a picture because you already know what it's going to look like. It's going to look like a big brown box with a few little bits of blue on it, right? Like all the fucking other ones. They all look the same, right? And the reason that they're doing that isn't because we need to make things quickly, right? It's because economics, essentially, right? Because we have allowed the private sector to just do everything for us, right? And it just frustrates me because I personally have felt a real sort of lift in my spirits from going around these places. And yeah, I'm in the touristy areas. However, even outside the touristy areas, you get this sense of Lithuanian heritage within the buildings, right? And in Britain, I just don't think that there is any of that in a lot of the buildings. There is when you go up north. There's a lot of British feel to the architecture there. And sure, there are some cases, rare cases, where a new build has tried to be in keeping with the other things. And it's not even necessarily that it needs to be in keeping, as in we need all the buildings to look like what buildings looked like 200 years ago, and that's the way that they will always look for the rest of the time. Britain can develop new styles of architecture, we can develop new trends, and we can make new things, but we need to make sure that they're there for a reason to be, nice rather than cheap. Right? The amount of new build flats especially that I go to, visiting random people that go, oh, I live here, and I go visit them, right? And they live in the same fucking box as the next 500 bastards, right? They all live in the same fucking thing, just in a different part of town, right? And they all look the same on the inside as well. Plain white walls that they've tried to pretty up as best they can to reflect their personalities and so on, and good for them for trying, but at the end of the day, everything just looks the same, right? And even the modern sort of more high-end stuff looks the same, right? And sure, maybe because of economics, right, we need things to look like this because the economy's going to pot and someone's got to pick up the bill, and it might as well be our fucking eyes, right? So why can't we have nice looking buildings? People would point to all kinds of issues, right? Angela Rayner, for instance, would talk about how we need more public housing and that we need to build it quickly. Well, for a start, right, why haven't we been building it for the past 40, 50 years? I don't know. There's a million political reasons for that could probably span an entire 2-hour documentary that I bet some twats made on YouTube, right? So go look that up. I'm sure it's good. I'm not going to watch it, right? There's loads of reasons for these things to be the way that they are, right? There's so many reasons that we're in the state that we're in, okay? But at the end of the day, every country that I've been to doesn't have the issue that Britain has. apart from, I suppose, America, well, I've not been to America, it seems like every country I go to, right, and I've been to probably about 8 or 9 at this point, they all have some level of cultural heritage towards their buildings. And yet, obviously, I'm in probably the worst place to be showcasing this because I'm in the middle of a touristy part of town. I mean, that's some kind of like town square, town hall thing, right? We're in a touristy area, right? This isn't the best place to be showing you this. I should really be showing you something like, there's a big box, a big white box down there that I'll point to. Hang on, I'll point to it now because it looks a wreck. Okay, it's just a big white blob. Do you see that? Do you see that there? It looks shit, doesn't it, right? It's not fantastic. Do you want everything to look like that? Because I sure don't. I don't want everything to look like a big white slab, right? I want everything to be more in the vein of this. Look at all that. How fantastic is this? It's wonderful. Have you seen? Can you see the spire from that church thing up there? It's absolutely amazing. I don't know what kind of architecture it is because I'm not particularly well informed. Right? You don't come to me for in-depth information. You come here for some vague form of, I don't know, pontification, I suppose. I feel like, and this is all based on feeling because that's what it is. Nice architecture feels nice to look at. Shit architecture doesn't feel nice to look at. If it was the other way around, then that church would be made out of fucking plastic, right? They'd have torn that down and they would have gone, right, we can make a nicer looking one out of fucking tarmac. And they would have done that. But they didn't, because that is a nicer building. And I would say 99.99% of people would say that that looks better than a Tesco Extra, right? I think everyone would agree that that building looks nicer. That all of these buildings look nicer than any Tesco Extra, even the ones that aren't particularly like ornate, like these ones in front of it. They're not massively ornate, right? They're not the biggest thing in the world. They're not, you know, endless fucking like, intricate little details on it. They're quite plain, nice pastel colours, right? They're lovely, right? But in Britain, we just don't have the same thing. Yeah, in Westminster, we got a few nice buildings, and yeah, I'm sure we do have Victorian Edwardian architecture, right? And yet, every time I come back to Britain, I always get this sort of sense of dread, of like, ugh, misery. Everything looks shit all of a sudden. There's no wonder, there's no sense of you know, whimsy. Everything just looks like that, you know. And you know what, if you live in Britain, you know what I'm talking about. The fact that everything, that's why as a culture we're so fucking miserable, because not all of our architecture, we used to have wonderful, lovely architecture, and you can still see glimpses of it through the fucking big box new build flats and the new Lidls that get built everywhere and the fucking job centres they chucked up everywhere and the flat roofed pubs. Everything looks like that now. These bog standard basic brown fucking slabs of bastarding brick and slab, right? They're garbage, they're rubbish, right? But it doesn't need to be like this. All we need to do is start putting a little bit more thought and care into what we want to build and where we want to build it, right? And we can still have it be for function, right? I mean, all of these buildings here look quite plain, right? That could be a job centre. That could be a fucking Asda. That could be a fucking skating rink, right? That one could be a block of flats, okay? All of these things could serve the same purposes, right? As whatever bog standard brick slab plastic pile of shite there is going on at the moment, right? I don't see why everything needs to look so boring and so miserable and so oppressive. Whereas here, everything feels so much better. It just feels nice, you know? And that's all I wanted to make the video about. I made a video a few months ago talking about architecture, and I kind of made the opposite point. And it's not that I disagree with that video innately. I understand the point that I'm making in it. But I feel like it's worth having a look at the other side of the coin, because I do think that we need to put more effort into the way that our buildings look, because we have to look at them every bastarding fucking day, all right? And I feel like the less oppressive we make our atmosphere, the less oppressive we will feel, and the less oppressed we will feel within a system that tries to oppress us constantly. So thank you very much for watching this video. Let me know what you think about it. I don't know if I'm accurate. I don't know if I'm wrong about all of this. Let me know your thoughts. If you're an architect, or God forbid you're an architect watching these fucking videos, If you're someone who works at buildings or you're a builder or whatever, let me know what I've missed, because I'm very naive on various things, you know, so there's probably bound to be things that I've missed. There's economic considerations that I haven't taken into account. There's all sorts of things, you know. Maybe the plumbing is easier to do on those ugly new buildings. I don't know. There's gonna be something going on with it. There's gonna be a reason why they look like that, because I'm sure every architect that designs these blueprints for these things has massive respect, who's done infinite amounts of research during their fucking 10-year-long architecture degree into just studying what makes that different from that, different from that, different from that, different from that over there, right? They all look different and unique and interesting, right? And yet they qualify for these grand architecture jobs that pay out the fucking arse, and they design the same bastarding fucking Lidl again and again and again. And it doesn't need to be that way. I just wish that we could have nicer looking buildings, because I think it would make all of us a lot happier. Even if you don't have any appreciation for architecture, like I don't have some kind of in-depth passion for architecture. I couldn't tell you what kind of building that is, but I do know that I like that. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you managed to get something out of this video. If you agree, then let me know why you agree. If you disagree, let me know why. What's your vision for the future with regards to buildings? What would you like Britain to look like? What would you like London to look like? What would you like things to look like? And what do you think about English heritage with regards to architecture compared to other countries, particularly Lithuania, because I'm in Lithuania right now. So that's it from me. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Have a good one. I'm going to close it off with the portal. And I'm going to hope that the portal is pointing at London, because that would be fucking useful, actually. It's pointing at Ireland, same shit. Don't have a go at me about Ireland and Britain being different. They both speak English. I know it's America, that's even closer.